Structured data examples, frequently asked questions. In this video session, I'm going to share with you great insights that when you use it, you will definitely see better results coming from Google. Let's imagine this scenario. Let's imagine your website has a web page that answers typical questions related to your industry. If that's the case, you can add QAPage Schema.org markup to guide search engines to better understand what that landing page is all about. I'll zoom in so that you see. If you were to include item scope, item type, schema.org QAPage, so we're referencing this page. And since Google understands structured data, what this says is scope of this URL is all about questions and answers. That's what we're saying to Google. Now, how do we go about creating this? That will depend on the type of website that you have, as in the type of business you're operating. You may already have frequently asked questions page, or you may not. If you do not have one, this is what you should consider. Let's imagine mud cake. Let's say mud cake. Let's search Google. As we can see, the structured data that Google understands prominently shows search results. In this example, Google understands we're talking about a mud cake, right? And it says, okay, you know what, how about recipes? So all these, whether it's on the right-hand side, whether it's recipes, all come from structured data. Now, but that's not frequently asked questions. As we can see, here it says people also ask. So now we're living in mobile first index world for Google. On a mobile device, people also ask feature is actually very useful. But if we had a website that was showcasing recipes and so on, surely we can mark up our content using recipe markup, product markup, all this stuff, right? Now, how do we find frequently asked questions? It doesn't matter what type of business you have, including e-commerce site, you can experiment with Google search box and identify question-oriented keywords. In this example, I can see straight away how to make a chocolate mud cake. Let's grab this question. So now that's one question. Can I say what icing goes on a chocolate mud cake? So that's another question. I can type in, let's say, how long? Let's grab that question. So, question-oriented keywords are usually long-tailed keywords. Once again, Rankia search engine optimization tip for you is it doesn't matter what type of website you have, it doesn't matter what type of business you're competing in on internet, you have to target question-oriented words, whether you use structured data or not. Okay? Why? Is because people are searching for it. Furthermore, they are more easier to rank. Also, question-oriented words, when you target them and rank them, because they are easy to do so, people tend to share blog posts that answers questions, because think of it as you're doing a favor to the searcher. Make sense? So that's very important in terms of search engine optimization. Okay. Also, it will help you to build authority on internet. So make targeting long-tailed keywords with question-oriented intention part of your business growth, even if you are running an e-commerce site. And Google search box is your friend. This is where you find long-tailed keywords with question-oriented intention, so to speak, okay? So, what we can do now is, if we were operating a, recipe-related website, and we wanted to share information related to mud cake, but we want to create frequently asked questions, right? Just inserting QAPage as structured data, that's not good enough. Only basic, that's very basic. That's not how you meant to do it anyway, okay? Because what you can do is you can go a little bit deeper now and say, okay, you know what? I have identified some words. So then we can say, let's make these into headings. Let's say heading 2. So now what we can do is this. So let's put these in headings first. As I've said, just adding QAPage as your structured data markup is not good enough, because Google analyzes the entire HTML. And in terms of HTML and structured data, we have many different options, right? So let's just grab lorem ipsum text so that I show you, because this is how it's meant to be done. And let's say that's the answer, that's the answer, and that's the answer. So now let's look at how that will look if we were to publish this, right? So now we've got some heading 2, heading 2, heading 2. But that's just heading. So now what we can do is we can mark up that heading with a role and say that heading, it plays a role in terms of that HTML document. And that in that example, it's a list item that is wrapped within a div role list. So now I'll just place this here because I'm going to publish this post, so you can check rank your blog, because I'm going to have more examples. Now let's take a look at what just happened. If our page had the markup QAPage, and then we had these headings, right? So they are now list. That's heading 2. That's playing a role list item. So now when Google analyzes the entire page, and then if it was to see this structured data markup, as in item scope, item type, schema.org QAPage, and then further analyze what's within the page, including headings, it will then display the results in a more efficient manner in Google's search results page. Make sense? Like, it may even display it as step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. So if I was to say, okay, step 1, let's imagine I do this. Step 1, step 2, let's say step 2, let's say step 3, and then publish that, then Google's gonna display the results more prominently in its search results page using that structured data. Okay, so once again, you can use item scope, item type, QAPage for frequently asked questions that you may have on your website. If you do not have frequently asked questions, then all you need to do is just sit back and ask yourself, okay, you know what? What is the type of questions that you encounter on regular basis related to your services, related to your products, if you're running a WooCommerce site, and so on, okay? And once again, how you find those type of questions is you just go search Google. Type in how your industry keywords. Type in what your industry keywords. How does, how do I, how to, what is, how long. Make sense? Just experiment with Google search box. Identify 5, perhaps even 10 questions that you can easily answer in a short manner. Then when Google is searched by your ideal customers or your audience, then you will be taking advantage of structured data, because Google will show your results more prominently using that structured data. Okay? So that is another example shared with you by Renka regarding structured data. I thank you very much for learning with me, and I'll talk with you in the next video session.